Hey, if you're still awake, tonight I wanted to talk about something I've noticed in my own life, and that's fear. Fear doesn't usually sound like fear, it sounds like logic. It sounds responsible, mature, careful, rational, and that what makes it so difficult to recognize. Fear doesn't say, don't start. It says, do a little more research first. Fear doesn't say, don't chase your dreams. It says, maybe wait until things are more stable. Fear doesn't say, you're scared. It says, you're just being realistic. And sometimes that's true. Sometimes patience is wisdom. Sometimes preparation matters. But sometimes we're calling it preparation when it's actually avoidance. There have been moments where I convinced myself I needed more time, more experience, more confidence, more money, more certainty. For example, when I started day trading about 2 years ago, I told myself I needed more experience, I need more time, I can't just jump into the markets. What if I get stopped out? What if I can't trust my trade? What if I can't trust myself? And then I will watch a trade go my direction after staying up hours and hours and hours, after getting 5 hours of sleep that night, watching the markets, watching the trade go my direction, just for me to say, wow, I knew I was right. So why didn't I do it? Why didn't I pull the trigger? Why was I scared? And that was fear. That was fear. And fear costed me so much money, so much time, so much personal connection, especially when I try to talk to different women. It's fear that stops me, not the rejection part. It's fear. And I hate that myself because, not to gloat, I will find myself pretty attractive. I would find myself pretty approachable as well. Fashionable, trendy for sure. But that fear of taking that first step to talk to a woman, it always put me back in my comfort zone because I always needed more certainty. So I wasn't preparing. I was protecting myself from the possibility of a failure, to be honest, a failure. Because if I never tried, I never had to find out. So those relationships, for example, never developed. That business move never manifested. The money that I always wanted never appeared because I let fear rule me. I think fear loves certainty. It wants guarantees. It wants proof, really. It wants proof that it was welcomed. It was made for you, almost. It wants to know exactly how things will turn out before it even begins. But most of the meaningful things in life doesn't work that way. Relationships, they don't. Dreams don't. Growth don't. If humanity listened to fear, we will still be in the Stone Ages. But now, we take the first step. We have to take the first step. We always have to take the first step because if we don't, we will never evolve. The confidence comes after taking the first step. The older I get, the more I realize that fear isn't always the voice telling us that we're going to fail. Sometimes it's the voice convincing us to stay exactly where we are. Sometimes it's your personal relationships, your friends, your families, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your wife, your husband. Those people are a manifestation of fear itself without you, the listener, realizing that. Take a step back, look around you. Are they protecting you? Or are they scared? Because they are also full of fear. Because staying where you are feels safer than risking disappointment. Are you happy in a relationship? For example, if your partner owns the house and you don't own the house, are you scared? Are you fearful that if you break up in a relationship where you're unhappy, will they kick you out? Are you fearful of that? Is that why you stay? Even when staying where you are is making you miserable, you need to conquer the fear and take that step forward. So I ask you, the listener, from me, the speaker, what decisions have you been postponing? What dream have you been researching instead of pursuing? That's a big one. We can do hours upon hours upon hours of research, but we never pursue. It's easier to research, and it's harder to take the first step forward. So much more harder to take that first step forward. What are you calling logic that might actually be fear? Have you thought about it? If you think it's logical to restrict yourself from becoming the person you want to be, is that really logic, or is that fear? If certainty was impossible, what would you do anyways? For me personally, if certainty was impossible, I would still do it. I believe that I talked about skydiving before. I wasn't certain that I was going to make it to the ground. I just had to do it. If I didn't, I was going to make it to the ground. That's for sure. But was it going to be on my 2 feet? Or would I be splattered across Mother Earth? I still had to do it. I had to conquer that fear. I already paid for it. I believe it was like $500. I already paid for it. If I was going to go out, might as well go out in the bank. That's how I see it, at least. That's how I see it, at least. I think being certain that no matter what happens, even though in the face of fear, there's always a way out. There's always a step forward. There's always a step forward. So as I close, I want to say that I don't think fear is always loud. I think it's usually quiet. Calm, like my voice. Quiet, like the room. Reasonable, convincing, like the speaker speaking through this microphone. I want to convince you that fear is nothing to worry about. I want to convince you to not only believe in yourself, but take that leap forward. Because there's always forward. I like that. Take the leap forward. Because there's always forward. It sounds like I'm saying forward, like the vehicle, but not forward. I digress. That's why we have to pay attention, because not every logical thought is wisdom. Sometimes it's fear wearing a suit. The room will reopen on Saturday. So maybe tonight, ask yourself a question. Am I truly being patient? Or am I waiting for permission that nobody can give me? I want you, the listener, to sleep on that one. And with that being said, I'll leave the light on for you.